So everybody is there. But we go to visit the manufacturing plant right outside of Hong Kong, and that sticks out in my mind till this day. It was the first dead body I ever saw of a human, because we're on like a rickshaw and we're headed out there, and like you leave proper Hong Kong, and then it's also one of the highest densities of like homeless people and stuff.
In Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
insane because it's so expensive, especially now. It's so expensive to live there.
Mm-hmm.
So they got these ramshackle shack type things outside of Hong Kong proper, and there was just a kid lying in the gutter, like dead, like straight up dead. And my grandpa saw it. He knew it was a possibility. And it was just one of those things like, oh yeah, now go toward DI plant and then talk about it. And to this day, I realize, like, when people say, like, oh, you're going to go to this country and it's dangerous, I was like, it's not dangerous. The world is full of good people, it's not full of bad people. It's full of people that got babies and just want to make sure they're happy and fed. But having perspective on knowing, why things are good here, or having perspective on knowing that you need to know what a culture is before you go into it and respect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing Americans are extremely. Only 20% of Americans have passports,
Yeah.
so they lack perspective on that. They go to another country and they say, right. I was like, well, you should read like in the Middle East, exposing the soul. Well, actually, a lot of the rest of the world, exposing the sole of your foot to someone is incredibly rude. It's the
Yes.
dirtiest part of your body.
Yeah.
But in America, men have to sit with their foot exposed to the person right there. You do that in the Middle East, you might get stabbed, right? It's literally a direct. It's considered an insult.
Yes.
In Japan, riding the bus, you don't face your butt to someone's face on the bus if you're standing. You turn it towards the inside.
Yeah.
So it's like learning to learn about a culture before you go there, or at least be willing to adapt and then live in it. You'll be fine. You just gotta know.
I mean, people are good, right? Like when I was in Vietnam, right? So this is my second. So I was there from November to February, second time there, right? But it's like I was there for two. It was my second week there, right? And so Vietnam, when it rains, right? So I was walking around, just exploring, right? And it started to pouring down rain, right? I'm like maybe like 8 minutes from my house, right? It's fucking pouring down rain, right? Like fuck, I walked the house. I'm fucking drenched, right? This Vietnamese couple came and grabbed me, right? Say, and they, like, hey, come in the house. I'm like, oh, I'm first like, no, I'm not going to fucking house. You're not fucking stealing my fucking kidney, right? And it's no rain. Okay, I went in, right? I went in, like, they gave me pho, they gave me beer. We communicate, go, like, you don't do that anywhere else, right?
You knew about pho before everyone in America knew about pho.
Yeah, it was so nice, right? And just so it's just hospitality, right? Most people around the world are like that, right?
They literally are. Anywhere I've ever been now, like especially everyone talks about Mexico being. I was like, oh, we used to go all the time. You go down to Mexico, mostly to buy anti venom because anti venom is so expensive in America. It makes no sense, even for humans. Life saving scorpion anti venom. If you grow up in West Texas, can be a matter of life or death because you're so far away from any kind of resources. Like
Yeah.
we don't call the cops because what cops out there?
Yeah.
You don't call.
I am the fucking cop.
I am the cop. You don't call the ambulance because what ambulance is out there? You need to learn some.
They might come in an hour.
Yeah, maybe. Like maybe you should learn some first aid and some self preservation techniques so you don't just do stupid shit. Because there's not someone there to just bail you out. It's kind of freedom at the same time. It's freedom, but also comes with the price.
A little bit of danger,
A
right?
little bit of danger, but people are people, and they're all the same. Like we go into Mexico, and it was never a problem.
No.
Yeah, there are some towns that are targeting.
Yeah,
tourists.
of course.
Yes,
Of course.
So does America.
Yeah.
If people think if people think that there aren't places that foreigners come to this country
Like
that they're waiting to rob.
Yeah, I know one thing.
That's not like.
I mean, if you come from Korea, you probably don't want to be in South Chicago, right? It's just insanity, right?
And that's, but we know those spots here, so it's like people are good. You can go anywhere in the world, and I think that, and in general, especially if you're traveling, which they just people are just scared because fear is they teach fear here
Yeah,
to control.
they do. It's that one thing about other countries. Like, first of all, like the food of the country tastes so much better, right? It's like you go to different countries, like the food's better, the atmosphere's better. It's like America's the best country in the world, but damn, like we have a lot to improve on, right?
Well, I mean, I think we're missing out on some of those foundational. I mean, Spain has got it figured out.
Yeah, they do.
The
Yeah,
siesta in the middle. Everyone stays up till midnight.
yeah.
Everyone's eating. A lot of Americans don't realize you go to France, you go to Spain. When you eat, you're gonna be there for an hour or 2 hours.
Because you're talking to people, you've been in a community.
Drink
What I do
wine,
today.
like and
None of this fucking drive through McDonald's, eat a meal. Yeah,
fast food doesn't exist because you're supposed to be. It's an experience to have with your friends.
yeah.
And that is something like as much as America has, like we are lacking on the village life aspect.
So here's one thing. So when I was in Vietnam, right? So I had this guy on my podcast. So I actually did 18 podcasts in Vietnam, right? Had a guy named Zach Kress, right? So Zach Kress, interesting guy, right? He was like a U.S. Army officer. I think number 47 employed in Snapchat, right? He just does out of Vietnam. So in Vietnam, right? He's like the guy for MMA, Muay Thai. He does other stuff, right? He puts this stuff right. He says I always been interested like doing a Muay Thai class. So I did Muay Thai class, right? And so my dumb ass, I hadn't worked out for like decades, right? Oh, no worries, just be sick and slow. And so the apartment is like 40-year-old female, right? But still, I somehow, so I did the other Muay Thai stuff. Next, I barely walk right. I'm fucked up, right? So a week passed, I have to go to the hospital, right? So I go to the hospital, and so I go online at 9 a.m., right? Make an appointment at 9 a.m. The appointment's up at 11 a.m., right? So I'm like, what the fuck? 11 a.m. to the same day? What the fuck is that, right? So basically, from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m., 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., those 5 hours, I make the appointment, see the doctor, get MRI, see the doctor again, get all the pain medications, and leave $135. I'm like, I'm not communist, but goddamn, like we gotta do better over here.
Or the fact that in Germany, when you're sick, the doctor comes to your house. Because
Yeah.
the idea, if you actually are compromised, if you actually are sick, making you go to one location where there's a bunch of people where you can spread it, it's pretty stupid, isn't it?
That is pretty fucking stupid. I never thought about that. Yeah,
Yeah, like when you have a German, we like.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, like and you're like, he was like, why would you have someone that has a potential pathogen, give it to everybody in a place where they're already immunocompromised?
I never thought about that. Yeah,
He was like, unless you need the hospital, you call the doc. They come with a little black bag to your house.
I mean,
check you
back
out.
in the day here, like the house doctors, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like Vietnam, like all that stuff. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, MRI alone, $10,000. One freaking pill.
Oh, I could.
They even like 20 pills, like all these pills,
I'm
right?
glad you brought that up. So like when I was young, I mean I still do, but I just know about them. I suffer from ocular migraines. I've got Crohn's, but I also have ocular migraines. And the only reason we found this out is I was playing soccer. I was goalkeeper. I played for a very long time, very competitively, and let's just say we're championship level team. And I got someone coming on they're approaching my goal, and all my coach said was, "You dove in the opposite direction of the ball
Mm.
because I was seeing double, and when you hit the ground, you didn't wake up."
Yeah, damn.
And so, and it was I felt like I was a little dehydrated because we were playing in a tournament, and so I
Yeah.
just thought I hadn't been drinking enough water because it's Texas. But that wasn't it. I was having a really bad ocular migraine, and it was knocking me out. And woke up in the hospital, and this starts this whole like crazy light bar test. I think it's called EKG or EKK. They put a blindfold over you, and then they tell you to close your eyes, and then they put this light bar, and then they tell you if you open your eyes, you'll be blind for the rest of your life. And it flashes such a bright light, even with your eyes closed and a thick blindfold, that it's the brightest light you like ever. And what it does is it triggers. It will force a migraine. And I'm only bringing this up because this was my medically induced psychedelic event. the reason why LSD is a Schedule 2 and not a Schedule 1 is LSD has medical usage in migraines.
LSD is it not Schedule 1?
It's not Schedule 1.
I didn't know
2.
that.
Yeah.
Well, marijuana is.
Hmm.
That's so fucking insane.
And so
That's fucking
I'm a
batshit crazy.
12-year-old kid. I get put in the hospital for migraines. They're testing to figure out what kind of migraine I have. They induce a cluster migraine, which pretty much is a migraine that just will, like, people that really suffer from migraine. A lot of people have headaches and they think migraines. Migraines will debilitate you. You can't, like, you vomit. You can't, like, light, sound, everything. You cannot process. And so they induced a cluster migraine on accident. They didn't know it was going to happen, but they don't stop. They can last for a week on end, nonstop. And so, like, I'm on day 2, and like, and they're like, oh crap. And then day 3 rolls around, and the migraine's not stopping because they got like all these wires on my head, and they're monitoring it, and they're like, no, yep, he's got legit migraines. And then my dad just comes in and he's like, hey, like, they're gonna give you some medicine to make the headache stop. I'm gonna be here for it. And the medicine was acid. So I was 12 years old, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? And then and then my doctor explained it later on, and then I get older and I'm talking to my dad, and I was like, that like, watching the Yellow Submarine and stuff when I get older, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, didn't I get that in the hospital? He's like, yeah, you did. Probably the purest you're ever gonna get, because this is actually made by a real lab and given to you by a real doctor. And yeah, but it stops your migraines. Yeah. It's one of the few medical usages for it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that everyone at age 25 would love to do that at least one time in their life.
It'll change. Ego death is important.
Yeah,
For me, my first real forced ego death, I got robbed at gunpoint when I was 20, 21, whereabouts. I got robbed at gunpoint, and I don't know, for some reason, maybe it was because, like, it was somebody that I had gone to school with, like junior high and high school, played sports with and stuff like that, and they robbed, I got robbed at gunpoint, which made no sense, but whatever. But it put a little bit of a fear in me on certain things, and it was giving me anxiety on certain things. And then I was going to Texas Tech at the time, and my buddy was just like, hey, there's a skydiving club at Texas Tech. You should go. I was like, okay, why not? Like, I was getting a little paranoid from, because I got robbed and stuff like that. Just like, I'd watch a movie with the gun scene, and like, it would bring back the memory. And so I decided to jump out of a plane on a tethered. I've never been tandem. I've only ever jumped by myself. I've jumped 6 times.
This is on my bucket list.
Yeah,
to jump out of a plane.
Oh, ego death. It was my first ego death.